So in this video, I'm going to show how to configure the BGP allow ASN feature. So what is the feature? So this architecture, this is an MPLS architecture where I connected two customer edge router and three provider router, right? This is a PE1, PE2 and P. So customer edge router CE1 and CE2 always placed at the customer premises and PE1 at the placed at the provider end. So this collectively called as an MPLS backbone. So this both customer edge router not aware of the MPLS routes. So what does the BGP allow ASN feature? So both the CE1 and CE2 I'm going to configure in the same autonomous system number. So what happens as per the BGP loop prevention mechanism, whenever the BGP receives update and if it sees its own autonomous system number. So this also I'm configuring AS1. So whenever it sees its own autonomous system number and it receiving this prefix, corresponding prefix, what happens? It will simply discard the update. So it will not allow this update over here in this corresponding routing table. The same way, whenever the CE2 receives the update from this corresponding CE1, it will see its own prefix, that is AS1. It will not allow this corresponding update. So that is the purpose you have to configure the BGP allow ASN feature. So today I'm going to show how to configure this in MPLS, this corresponding architecture. So before that, let us do a quick overview of how MPLS work. So the packet will be routed from CE1 to PE1 and here the label will be pushed and the label packet, that is a packet is label is appended to this packet and will send a label packet, right? So in this provider router it will do a label swap from 17 to 16 say. So again this label packet will be sent to PE2. At the receiving end it will do a label pop mechanism, that is it will strip off the label and will send the packet. So this is an MPLS architecture. So today let us see how to configure this BGP allow ASN feature. So how we can prevent the loop mechanism, because since both CE1 and CE2 are in the same autonomous system number. So this will not allow this update in this routing entry. CE2 will not allow this corresponding routing entry. So how to allow this? For that we are using this feature. So I'm going to show how to activate this feature. Let us know, before that let us go to the basic configuration. So let us quickly configure this VRF, RD and RT on this corresponding PE1. So let us go to PE1 first. Go to the configuration mode. Let us activate the VRF, IP VRF RED. So VRF is a virtual routing. We are creating a virtual instance for each and every different customer, right? That is the purpose of VRF. So a single global routing table, I am just segregating into multiple single virtual instance. So each and every multiple virtual instance indicate a single virtual routing table. It is just like a VLAN. So it is used to differentiate the multiple different customer routes. For that reason, we are using VRF. Under this, I am going to define RD. So RD is a 64-bit or 8-byte value, which is used to distinguish or differentiate between the same customer identical routes. If both the customer are using the same routes, so then we can differentiate by using RD. So RD, the format is ASN colon 11. So ASN is nothing but an autonomous system number. Colon 1 is nothing but an identifier. So you can use any format. So I'm going to use 1:1. And the route target I already told it is used for importing and exporting the customer routes between the MPLS cloud. So the same thing I'm going to configure on PE2. Go to the configuration mode IP, VRF, RED and RD. Let us make it as 1:1. And the route target both 1:1. What is both is nothing but I'm just doing import and export of both the customer routes. So right, so both will be using the same format, both RD and RT, but the only difference is used to distinguish between the different customer routes, and route target is used for importing and exporting the customer routes between the MPLS environment, right? So for that reason you are using route target and RD. So after that I have to enable this, activate this VRF on this corresponding interface facing this provider edge router. So go to fast Ethernet 0x0. So go to the configuration mode. So interface, okay. Go to the configuration mode, interface fast Ethernet 0x0 IPVRF forwarding. I'm using RED. RED is a name. Immediately the IP address will be removed. Let us activate the IP address. 192.168.12.2, 255.255.255.0. Let us activate the interface. Similar way, let us go to PE2. PE2 already we activated the VRF on the configuration mode. So I'm going to activate this on the corresponding interface. So that is, what is interface fast Ethernet 0x0. So interface fast Ethernet 0x0 IP address is 192.168. not IP address. We have to activate the forwarding, right? IP VRF forwarding. VRF name is red. So then we have to activate this interface. Once I activated this VRF in the interface mode, it will be removed. This IP address will be removed. Again, I have to activate the IP address 192.168.45.1 55.55.55.0. Let us activate the interface. So I am done with the first step. So then let us quickly configure the LDP and IGP configuration. So let us go to LDP. LDP is used for advertising the labels. So this routing entry, this IGP is nothing but the routing interior gateway routing protocol. So in this case, I'm using OSPF. So this OSPF will trigger the LDP or LDP updates between this corresponding MPLS core router. So this LDP is nothing for advertising or distributing the labels between these core routers. For that purpose, I'm using LDP. So let us configure together. So go to the configuration mode. So router OSPF 100 and the network, what is the thing I'm going to advertise this? 23.0. This MPLS network. So 192.168.23.0 0.0.0.55. Let us make it as area 0. And this I have defined the loopback address 2.2.2. So the network is 2.2.2 0.0.0.0 area 0. Similar way, let us go to, I have to activate the LDP. LDP is used for distributing or advertising the labels between the name MPLS routers, right? So let us go to route. So router OSPF 100 MPLS LDP auto config. This is the command I have to do. Similarly, let us go to P router. That's the provider or the core router which sits in between these both the routers. So go to P, go to the configuration mode, router OSPF 100. So it has two interfaces, 23.0 and 34.0. Let us advertise the network. 23.0, 0.0.0.55, area 0. And the second thing is 34.0, right? 34.0. Then let us activate the loopback address. That is 3.3.3, 0.0.0.0, area 0. Then let us enable the LDP. So LDP and IGP I'm doing together. MPLS LDP auto config. So activated the LDP. Similarly, one more thing is pending on PE2. I have to activate this LDP and IGP configuration. So let us go to PE2. Go to the configuration mode. Router OSPF 100. Network is, so only this network, MPLS environment network, I'm going to advertise this corresponding interface, not this interface. So 192.168.34.0, 0.0.55, area 0. Then the loopback address is 4.4.4, 0.0.0.0, area 0. Then let us activate this LDP, MPLS LDP auto config, right? So I have done with this second configuration, that is activated the LDP and IGP between this PE1 and PE2 router, right? We have done that. So now let us check the configuration. So let us check the interfaces. So MPLS interface LDP is active. So let us check the neighbor. Show MPLS LDP neighbor. So I'm seeing the neighbor is 3.3.3. This is a source address. So the neighbor is up. It has established a TCP connection. Similarly, P router is a core router that sits in between the PE1 and PE2 router. So MPLS interfaces. So interface are up. Show MPLS LDP neighbor. So it has two neighbor. One is PE1, that is 2.2.2, and PE2 is 4.4.4. So these interfaces are up. Similarly, let us go to PE2. Show MPLS LDP neighbor. So this is one interface, that is 3.3.3. That is nothing but a P router. So now we have configured this LDP and IGP configuration. So now the third step is I need to configure the MPBGP between PE1 and PE2 router. So the third, let us proceed with the third step. So go to PE1. So MPBG is nothing but it is a combination of, I already told, it is the purpose of MPBG. What is the purpose we are using is, it is used for advertising the VP and V4 route between the PE1 and PE2. What is VP and V4 is? It is a collection of RD. RD already told, it is a collection of RD and prefix. So while advertising the label, it will advertise also the RD plus prefix to this corresponding P router. So both this combination we call it as a VP and V4 route. So RD is a 64-bit value. prefix is a 32-bit value, so totally 96-bit value, right? So both this RD and prefix collectively called as a VPN v4 route. For advertising this VPN v4 route between this provider edge router, I am using MPBGP as a protocol. So that's the thing, you have to keep it in mind. So now let us activate the MPBGP between these both the routers. So let us go to PE1, configuration mode, router BGP 234, and the neighbor is 4.4.4, right? That is the loopback address we are defined here, 4.4.4, and the remote ASC is 234, and the neighbor is again 4.4.4. Update source, we have to define loopback 0. Why? I'm just updating using this loopback 0. Neighbor is established using the loopback. So that is the purpose of I'm configuring. So then let us activate the address family. Why means I'm just advertising VPN v4, right? So VPN v4 route between PE1 and PE2. So then let us activate it. 4. So this is a command 4.4.4. So this I'm activating the VPN v4 route. So similar let us go to PE2. So first three configuration will remain the same for all the MPLS thing. So after that, I'm going to show what is the exact change I'm going to do. Router BGP 234. So it is an IBGP neighbor. Neighbor is 2.2.2. So this is the neighbor loopback address of PE1. Remote AS is 234, right? That means it's an IBGP neighbor. So neighbor 2.2.2, update source loopback 0. Then activate the address family VPN v4 route. Then neighbor 2.2.2 activate. So this is the thing I have configured. So now one more thing is pending. What is that? I have to remove that IPv4 because since I'm activating only the VPN v4, I can remove the IPv4. So go to the configuration mode, router BGP 234, address family IPv4, no neighbor, 4.4.4 activate. Why means I'm not using IPv4 between both this. I'm using only the VPN v4, right? So similarly, let us go to PE2, go to the configuration mode, router BGP 234, address family IPv4, no neighbor, 2.2.2 activate. So now what will happen? It will remove this IPv4 since I'm only using the VPN v4 between this MPBGP. Since it's an MPLS cloud environment, so we are not using IPv4. So that is the reason I removed. So now let us check the configuration. Show BGP. How to check the VPN v4 routes for BGPs? This is an MPBGP, right? Show BGP VPN v4 unicast all summary. So that means the neighbor is up. Similarly, go to PE2, show BGP VPN v4 unicast all summary. So the neighbor is coming up, right? Neighbor is up. Let us ping from PE1 to PE4. 4.4.4 source loopback 0. We are able to reach. Similarly, PE2 ping 2.2.2 source loopback 0. I'm able to ping from both the ends. So now the fourth thing what I'm going to do, I'm just going to configure the BGP between these both the routers. After that, I'm going to show how to configure this attribute value. So now let us activate the BGP between CE1 and PE1 router. So this is the thing I'm going to do. So let us go to the corresponding CE1 router, go to the configuration mode. So both CE1 and CE2, I'm going to configure the same autonomous system number, that is 1. So the remote is 234. So let us configure it. Router BGP1 and the neighbor is 192.168.12.2. That's the neighbor, right? From CE1, 12.2, and the remote AS is 234. And let us advertise the prefix. The prefix is 1.1.1. And let us give the mask as 255.255.255.255. So this is the thing I've done from CE1. So the same thing I would do configure from CE2 also. The same autonomous system number, only the prefix is different. So let us go to CE2, go to the configuration mode. So router BGP1 and the neighbor is 192.168.45.45.1, right? And the remote AS is 234. That is the remote AS, right? 234. And the prefix is 5.5.5. This is a loopback. Mask is 255.255.255.255. Okay, so I are done with this configuration. So now let us activate the BGP from PE1. So go to provider edge router, go to the configuration mode, router BGP 234. Let us activate the address family. Address family, we are using only this IPv4, not VPN-v4, right? So it is a normal IPv4. So address family, IPv4, VRF is red. So then let us activate the neighbor. Neighbor is 12.1, right? This is 12.1, 192.168.12.1, and the remote AS value is 1, right? So this is also 1. Remote AS is 1. So then the network is 192.168.12.0. Mask will be 255.255.255.0. So similar way, I have to configure. So neighbor is coming up, right? The 12.1 neighbor is coming up. Similar configuration I have to do from PE2 also. So go to PE2, router BGP 234, and the customer router is in IPv4. So address family IPv4, VRF name we have created is red, and the neighbor command is 45.2, right? 192.168.45.2, and the remote AS value is 1. So the same autonomous system number 1. Both are in same autonomous system number. So you configure it as a 1. Similar way, let us advertise a prefix 192.168.45.0, and the mask is 255.255.255.0. So we are done with most of the configurations. So we have done VRF, LDP configuration, MPBGP. Then we activated the BGP between both PE1 and CE1 router. So now let us see the prefixes. So let us go to CE1. Let us see the show IP route. So show IP route, you are not able to see this corresponding prefix 5.5.5. So you can see the routing table also. So in this you are able to see 1.1, but you are not able to see this corresponding prefix. Even in the routing entries, you are not able to see the corresponding entry, right? 5.5.5. That means whenever it receives update from CE2, it will see its own autonomous system number. Since it is seeing the same autonomous system number, it will simply discard the update. So that is the reason we are not able to see the corresponding prefix. So what is the option you can do is we have to configure the BGP allow ASN attribute. So let us see from CE2 end also. Let us do the show IP BGP all summary. This is for checking the neighbor relationship is established. So it's already established between CE1 and PE1 router. And also in the BGP routing table, let us see show IP BGP. You are not able to see the remote network. That is 5.5.5 prefix you are not able to see. And also in the routing entry, you are not able to see the prefix value. Why? Because whenever the CE1 receives update from this corresponding its own autonomous system number, it will simply discard the update. The same case with CE2. So how to avoid this? So we can configure the BGP allow ASN1 attribute value, sir. So this attribute I have to configure in CE1. So go to CE1, configuration mode, router BGP1, and the neighbor is 12.2, 192.168.12.2, allow ASN. This is the configuration, allow ASN. That means it will automatically allow the update from its same autonomous system number. Even though both are in the same autonomous system number, it will prevent the loop, right? So for that reason, this allow ASN, what will happen? It will allow the update from even though if it is in the same autonomous system number. So then let us do this. Similarly, let us go to CE2, go to the configuration mode, router BGP1. So this allow ASN feature we have to configure on the customer edge router, not on the provider edge router. We have to configure on the customer edge router. So router BGP1 neighbor is 192.168.45.1 and allow ASN. So after doing this, now let us check the routing entries. So let us go to CE1 and now let us see the routing entries. So now you are able to see the entry, right? I'm able to be previously there were no entry. So there are no entry for this corresponding prefix 5.5.5. So after configuring this command, you are able to see the prefix show IP BGP. So you can able to see the prefix 5.5.5, right? So that means it is getting advertised. Similarly, let us go to CE2 and let us view the entry show IP route. You are able to see the entry. So now let us do the trace. Trace 5.5.5 source loopback 0. We are able to see the trace, right? Trace is going from CE1 to CE2, and let us do from CE2. Trace and this corresponding loopback address 1.1.1. Source is loopback 0. So this means it's successfully working because of this allow ESN feature. Because in case both of these customers are in the same autonomous system number, this will discard the update. If it sees its own path, its own autonomous system number in the path received, automatically discard the prefix. So that is the reason initially this prefix not getting advertised in this BGP table, and even this prefix not getting advertised in the BGP routing table. So after changing this BGP allow ESN attribute, automatically it will allow the update from the prefix, from the remote autonomous system number or from the same autonomous system number. So in this case, it is in the same autonomous system number. So allow ESN will allow the update from the same autonomous system number. So that is the purpose of allow ESN. So I hope you enjoy this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more videos. Thanks and have a wonderful day. Thank you.